Greetings and welcome. This is sort of an impromptu video. It was a thought I had last night, so I thought I'd do something with it before I forgot it. It's only a couple months now till the end of life for Windows 10. It's October. I mean, there are extended support behind a paywall, but Microsoft is ending any public support. So what this means is a lot of users, because of the requirements for Windows 11, may either need to upgrade or, well, upgrade to Windows 11 if they want to stay in the Windows ecosystem, because once security patches stop for Windows 10, they'll become much more vulnerable, or they can switch to another operating system, be it Mac or Linux. I am definitely not here to tell you what to do. There's something I just thought of, and I did a video about this earlier. I'll mention that later. But I'm guessing the majority of people using Windows 10 when Windows 10 expires are going to switch to Windows 11. It's just, I say this because the number of people I know who use Windows, they want something clean and simple. They're not computer experts. They just want it to work. And because of this, a substantial number of people are going to have to probably upgrade their hardware, and this is where my thoughts were going the other day. This could be a real advantage for us Linux users, and anyway, that was the thought that came to me last night with the death of Windows 10, at least the public death. Like I say, behind the paywall will still exist, but people having to switch to Windows 11, and I think the majority of people are. And there's going to be a lot of people who need to get rid of some hardware that may be 4 or 5 years old and get new hardware. So yeah, real advantage coming, and let's get into it. So the first thing is, I don't expect a year of the Linux desktop. It's certainly not going to be 2025, and hopefully it's not 2026. I did a video about why I don't want to see the year of the Linux desktop. I'll stick a link around here somewhere, or the name of the video. You can look it up for yourself if you're interested in it. But as soon as the Linux desktop climbs the usage that is across the entire computer continuum there among desktop users climbs to, like, say 15-20%, which I don't think it's going to do in 2026, but you never know. But when it gets up high enough, the corporations are going to jump on it because they're going to see a money-making tool, and then Linux as we know it will die. That's why it was year of the Linux desktop pipe dream. At least I hope it is, because like I say, it's corporations, and just to see what's going to happen there, you can look at what things Red Hat and Canonical have been doing, and Fedora, which they may say they're a community, but they're run by Red Hat. Things that IBM, some other companies are doing, and just the general, what's a good way to put this? The childish way in which a lot of the groups around Linux are behaving nowadays, and a lot of the projects are behaving nowadays. Like I said, I can see if Linux catches on, I'll be moving on to something different, because the Linux we know today won't exist if that happens. So what do I mean exactly by end of life for Windows 10 being a boon for us Linux users? Getting back onto the subject again, it's I foresee starting in October and stretching through 6-7 months, there being a lot of somewhat older computer hardware, and I'm talking about 4 or 5 years old, on the market. And a big driving force for this is going to be TPM. And that's going to be a boon for us. So one of the biggest hurdles for upgrading any computer to run Windows 11, and yes, I know you can work around this through the software, patches, cheats, whatever you want to call it, is going to be TPM 2.0. And like I say, 4 or 5 year old computer might not directly support TPM 2.0. The end result, as I see it, is 90% of the people using Windows 11, or I should say Windows 10 now, are going to upgrade to Windows 11, and maybe about 60-70% of those people are running it on older computers, they're going to need to get a new computer. Then what happens to that old computer? I'm hoping it doesn't end up in a landfill, that they drop it off the thrift shop, recycle it. I mean, this will be a great time because I think it's going to drive the price of older laptops and older computers down with a sudden flood on the market because people needed a different computer to run Windows 11. At least that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. There should be a glut on the market, that is. And like I said, I hope people are going to recycle. I'm too old to go poking around in the, well, when I was younger, much younger, I used to go around when the new version of Windows came out and check what people were throwing out. And I found a lot of computers that way and a lot of hardware. Yeah, they had to upgrade Windows. They replaced their hardware, and instead of recycling it, they just tossed it. If they're not doing that, hopefully they're bringing it to a thrift store where you can shop the thrift stores a lot of times for computer stuff, and you'll find something there. Or you can visit the recycling centers in your area or go on eBay. And like I say, I think there should be a glut in the used computer market, and I think that should drive prices down. So if you're seriously thinking about building, upgrading, creating a server farm, creating a home lab, creating a new media server, this might be the time, or at least a couple months might be the time to start shopping for the hardware to do that, in the used market, that is. Like I said, the majority of users of Windows 10 who need to go to Windows 11, they're not going to go to Linux. They don't want to go to Linux. They have no interest in Linux. And they'll claim, well, I need Windows because of some software I run. Well, again, 90% of the users, maybe 95%, that's, well, they're just kidding themselves. I mean, unless you're running Adobe or you need Microsoft for some reason, high-end functions in Word and Excel and formatting and things like that, you don't really need Windows. I mean, these people who do this are professionals. They're the ones who need it. For most of us home users, yeah, I don't do the kind of stuff that I need Adobe Photoshop for. But again, the mindset, they're going to take the easiest path, which will be to go out and buy a new Windows 11 computer if they can't upgrade their present computer, because everything's installed and working, even the bloatware, even the spyware. But again, most of them aren't going to care about that. And hopefully the old computer just does not get stuck in a closet, which is another source. You might go check in with any of your neighbors that recently upgraded and see if they just stuck the old computer in a closet and they'll let you have it. Who knows? I'm also sure, and as I say, this is probably going to start happening in September, mainly October, because, again, most of the people aren't paying attention, and they're going to suddenly realize that when they get a message on their screen that Windows 10 is into support. And that's when they're going to go do something about it. So at that point, new computer prices will probably jump. And like I said, there should be a glut on the used market or even the free market, depending on where you look, and those prices should drop. And like I say, the point is, this might be a very good time to pick up a used computer or two for that special project you have been waiting on or putting off for lack of hardware. So in conclusion, hopefully 2026 is not the year of the Linux desktop, but it could be the year of the Linux Home Lab or the Linux Server Farm or the Linux Media Center. That, yeah, it could be. And as they say, one man's garbage, another man's treasure. The possibilities are out there. It just depends on what the people are going to do with their old computers. And like I say, I think probably a large majority of the Windows 10 users are going to end up just buying new computers, and then they're going to have to do something with their old Windows 10 computer. And like I say, these computers are perfectly fine. Most of them, a lot of them are going to be fairly powerful. You know, i5s, i7s, Ryzen. You're going to have it. And really, there might actually be some deals on graphics cards if they just leave them in the computer and don't move them. Like I say, a lot of people don't want to do a lot of that stuff. So you never know what you're going to find. Anyway, this is a thought that hit me last night. I wanted to get it down before I forgot about it. But yeah, come September, October, November, I'm going to be watching and seeing what, well, not November, going back to the Philippines in November, but I'll be checking September, October. Actually, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Philippines. They reuse everything to death. We'll find out when I get back. But yeah, in the coming months, I'm going to keep an eye out and see if I can see any good ones for a good price. And I think you Linux users should do the same. Anyway, that's it for this video. So, usual stuff. like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time.